Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live in a sinkhole? Well, I'm about to spend 100 days in this sinkhole. Or you can call it a crevasse, you can call it whatever you want, a big hole. I don't know. Anyway, there's a few dangerous things that happen. There's a massive tornado that can sweep through and just take everything. That's good to know. There's also a few zombie hordes, so yeah, you don't want to get caught out there in a zombie horde with literally no direction to go. There's like literally one way there, one way back. Unless you want to jump over hills and stuff, you can do that. I'm also going to leave the link in the description to this mod pack that I used. Also, if you do enjoy it, please consider liking and subscribing. I don't ask, this is like the first time I have. In this mod pack, I also get 4 lives, and you might be thinking, this is hardcore Minecraft, you only get 1. But I didn't know anything about this until I actually died. So yeah. Also on day 100 I challenged myself to fight a weird sea creature. Yeah, let's just see how that goes. Anyway, without further ado, let's just get straight into this video. I hope you enjoy this one, let's get into it. Day 1. Spawned in an ocean, so I quickly made my way to its surface. Picked a direction, started swimming. Eventually I came across a village that had a bit of wheat so I could make some bread. Made my way inside, grabbed a bed and left to explore more of this village, seeing as there were nothing left here. I then went into the next house and look what this librarian had. Fortune 3. Too poor right now. I did find an emerald just sat there. Could say it were a piece of cake really. Oh look, a bottle of enchanting. That bad boy gave me a single level. Nice. Started making my way more into the village, seeing some logs so I could make some basic tools and weapons. Why are villages not already like this? It's a shame really. I mean, some mountains in the background would be nice. Anyway, it's starting to get dark from all the resource gathering, so I spent my first night here. The following day, spent it looting this whole village, finding myself some apples. You'll know why soon. I found this blacksmith's house and I got myself an iron sword and an iron helmet, which is pretty good. I then got a bucket from another house and I was feeling good on day 2, won't lie. Then I came across a bugged armor stand. Yeah, there's no point in all of that, so I just put most of it in furnaces. Finding myself some coal, there were blocks of it, so I only took a few. I walked inside this other house and got myself a full iron armor set. Yeah, that's nice. It was bugged like the last one, so I destroyed it. And I found a boat on the wall to my left, and by the time I did all that it was already dark, so I slept. On day 3 I thought it was best to craft a boat and finally find an Oceanic sinkhole. It's probably the names for these, but I have no idea. And off I went to find a place to call home. And here we are. You could basically call this a ravine of some sort. I made my way down, getting some coal and crafting some stone gear. I wanted to travel along the ridge to see if I could find anything, and there were a pirate ship that I completely forgot about for the next 90 odd days. I then just sent it flying off the sea cliff in my boat. I saw some pots and got the most luckiest and unluckiest pair of boots. Yep, that's mending with Curse of Binding and Unbreaking 3. I made my way down and looted the ship in the distance. I mean, look at what's inside this chest. That's a jackpot, mate. The night was also creeping, so I went to sleep. Started making my way along the floor of this place, finding a mob head and placing it, making it some kind of marker to signal where I was. I was obviously finding a lot of diamonds and also iron, and I was just walking past gold, not knowing it was the most valuable resource next to coal. And I'm sorry to put these two words together, but what happened next was a close call. And that's it, I just went mining all day and eventually went to sleep. On the morning of day 5, I found some diamonds. Yeah, I figured you could get some good loot from these pots, so I smashed every single one that I could see. I came across a ruin and took anything that I thought was valuable inside the chest. For some reason these mobs were not attacking me. I don't know what were happening there. Anyway, I was adventuring, finding more ore, coming across a ruined nether portal that had a golden hole with silk touch. Perfect for what I wanted to do. Leaving a gold block behind because I saw a few trees, which means I can get saplings and also some logs. Basically so I could try and build my own forest. Darkness were also falling, so I slept under the stars. The next day I found a shipwreck with paper in it. I also thought it were best to make some diamond leggings and diamond helmet. Moving on, finding a second chest with a bunch of goodies inside, finding myself a pirate helmet which is better than the diamond one I created before. And I'm looking back in editing and thinking, why did I leave it in the chest for? And for the rest of the day I just spent it looking around trying to find things. On day 7 I literally did the same thing, although I did find some diamonds. I found this block called Azurine. I thought it were interesting for some reason. Day 7 already coming to a close. I smashed this pot and got a pretty decent pair of boots, although it's a shame about a cursor binding though. On day 8 I found a little ocean ruin finger, I forgot what it's called. I did get some coal and hay, there were also a diamond next to it just sitting there. I figured it was time to start working on his base as well, seeing as there were tornadoes and zombie hordes. I started with a 3x3, slowly expanding it over time. Putting a campfire down that will soon disappear. And adding a hay bale underneath to add that extra bit of smoke just in case I get lost and I see it. I then spent the remainder of the day just sorting out my inventory, giving the campfire space to breathe and finally falling to sleep. On day 9 I placed some dirt so I could start growing some trees, because they are pretty far away from where I are now. I also pillared up to the shipwreck behind me, finding a few bits and bobs. After that I placed a few torches all around my base so I know the location. After that I got bits of gold, killed a few creepers and I went to bed ready for the next day. On day 10 I just chopped some logs down, did a little bit of work around the base. I climbed up the huge waterfall and eventually finding some sugarcane that I could use later on. Making my way back, digging up bits of dirt so I could try to transform this place a little. I was really hoping to find some moss block but I never did. I went back home and started placing, and slowly but surely this base was starting to become a bit more cozier and looking a lot better. After that I just went to sleep. I wanted to explore more above the surface so I hopped in my boat and left. I was literally inside a giant fishbowl with nowhere to go except from going back down into the sinkhole. I grabbed my boat and made my way back down. I did find some diamonds, you know I had to grab them. I smashed a pot and got a cool little statue as well, and the moon was also going down. I went to place the little statue guy, made myself a few golden apples, and after that I tried to go to sleep, but it were a hard night. I blocked myself in and waited, upgrading the door to iron. I built a hole for the zombies to fall into, and I got infected for the first time. I ate a golden apple hoping it would cure me and it worked. I then spent the whole night just killing zombies. It was literally the next day and my main goal was to get as much gold as possible, but first I had to deal with some chimney zombies. Chopped a few trees down and replanted them so then I could grow them again. And then I went on a quest for gold. After finding whatever I could, I dug up a few dirt blocks and made my way home, smelting up the raw gold and then going to sleep. On day 13, I placed some dirt outside. I was basically trying to keep on track with everything that I wanted to do. Crafting extra golden apples, making sure I always had some. I wanted to go out and explore more again at the surface, so I set sail on my boat once again and got an epic shot of a fish. That was pretty cool. I then found a ship with villagers inside, and just to clarify this now, I will not be using villagers, travelling to the Nether, or fighting the Ender Dragon. So yeah, I won't be doing any of that in this. I found a chest with Depth Strider 2, hopefully that helps in future. I looted another chest, finding a bunch of ingots and a captain hook, and if you can't tell by now, this mod pack is a pirate one. The fourth and final chest had a bunch of useful items in it. When I was on my way home, I heard a rocket explosion and I was curious. I wanted to know more, so I waited for the sun to fall and went to sleep. I started to make my way down, getting hit by a rocket. I knew it weren't going to be easy, but I did manage to destroy a spawner. There were TNT everywhere. I managed to get a few, but I could hear the enemy, but I couldn't see them, so I ended up leaving and returning at a later date. Explored a bit more, finding a ruined Nether portal with a decent axe inside, and not forgetting to grab the golden blocks, seeing as they are truly valuable. Finding another ship with some more goodies inside, and eventually going to sleep on the villager's boat. On day 15, I found something interesting. It were another villager boat, but this time it had a unique trader. I looted the ship, finding a few good things like TNT and iron. I weren't too sure what this trader was. I thought it were a trader guide so he could get a map to a dungeon or something, but I guess you'll have to find out later. But I did buy the librarian's favourite up, and it will take me to some bookshelves. It felt like these days were going by really fast, and by the time I knew it were already getting dark, so I went to sleep. On day 16 I found a wandering trader. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Well, he did have a globe on him. I really wanted it, but I never managed to get it in this whole 100 days. I also found another ship, looting everything that I could fit into my inventory. I figured it was time to go home, so I sent it off this ocean cliff once again. That makes my heart sing. On my way back, I went to the old Nether portal ruin and grabbed the gold block that I left behind. I then started jump sprinting like a happy rabbit and almost had a bad day. And here is the whole journey home in 10 times speed. When I got home, I noticed that there were a whale, but I had no way of helping it. I was more interested in the trail of smoke that were really weird. I'm in a small storage area to put all my junk away, spending a bit of the night sorting all my things out and finally going to sleep. On day 17, I did a few things around the base, mining bits of gold, this time knowing I'm gonna need it. Making my way into a small cave area, defeating a skeleton and taking all the gold. Making my way further into the cave and taking out any pesky pixel that were in my way. And then I just left. Yeah, I just left. What the hell? Oh yeah, I wanted to spend the rest of the day just collecting dirt and grabbing a bit of sand because I wanted to put windows in my little hobbit hole. I then went home and smelted the sand to make glass. I also made myself a diamond sword before heading to bed. On day 18, I started work on the front part of the base, crafting myself some window panes from the glass that I just got. And adding a few more above the doorway. Going outside and fighting a spider for a string, that's what I'll need to make a bow. When I was attending to the trees, a few weirdos appeared, so I had to show them some respect. I placed a few boats down and lured them into a trap, taking them out one by one. Two by their own doing and one with a sword. Grabbed my boats, nearly died by all the arrows that they shot me with. I also found Squidward the Evolved lurking in the waterfall. I think it's best if I left that alone. For the rest of the night, I spent it chopping all the trees down and then going to sleep. On day 19, I started it by placing all the dirt blocks down that I've been gathering, and this is what it looked like after. Yeah, not much. Spent a few minutes trying to get some flint from the gravel that I had so I could make some more arrows. Going outside and replanting the trees, crafting some iron bars to put over the windows. I didn't really like it, so I'm pretty sure I changed that later. And then finally going to sleep again. On day 20, I stayed around the base and did a bunch of stuff. Taking out an enderman that sadly didn't drop a pearl. I also saved a few Nautilus fish things as well. That's my good deed for the day. Took out the windows and that made it a little more spacious. It's starting to feel like a home now. I gave the statue guy a forever home, although you can't really see it. I moved my workbench and my furnaces and I just had enough space for an anvil. I dug out a 3x1 underneath the work area to make an unlimited water source. I fixed the entrance ceiling and then added some stairs next to the campfire for some seating, even though you can't sit down. Lanterns are like my favourite light block, so I crafted some up and placed them around. You see, them haunting sounds of all these rainy downpours were like kind of creepy, but they were also relaxing at the same time. But there were no way I'm going out there, so I went to sleep. On day 20 when we were hailing outside and I saw a creeper that I defeated easily. Then I went round just lighting up the area. I didn't really do anything significant today, I just chopped a few logs down, got a few bits more ore and defeated a few more mobs. And then I went to bed, but it were a hard night, so here's 100 times speed of me defeating all them. So yeah, just sat there whacking zombies all night getting infected. Day 22 and I had to deal with a few zombies outside. I then spent a long time just gathering dirt. Yeah, just dirt. Went home, started placing the dirt, and then an enderman peacefully gave me his ender pearl. I placed the rest of the dirt that I had and then headed back on inside. Built a little room where eventually we will build a enchantment table. So yeah, that's going to be cool. And then I went straight to bed. On day 23 when I woke up, I finished the enchantment room. I didn't really do much except from build a sugarcane farm, and then at some point in time this will be taken away from me. I then went to sleep and basically just wasted this whole day away. The next day I went to grab some magma blocks, bits of lapis that were underneath them, and then some obsidian. I went home, crafted the enchantment table and placed it in its forever home. It was night time, so I went to sleep. On day 25 I went to check out the abandoned mine shaft just across from me. I almost died, so I left, but not leaving me out a few gold ore. I did find the diamond underneath this flowing water bit, so I grabbed it and then left. The next challenge was to get Karl back home, so I crafted up a few leads, and when I was about to leave, a tornado showed up. The only thing I could really do is wait out the whole day and just go to sleep and hope that it wasn't there in the morning. It was still stormy outside and I didn't trust it one bit, so I waited for it to pass and finished up building where the cows will go. I did hear a wandering trader hoping he had a globe, but he never did. Before I went out, I checked out the map I bought. Yeah, it's just a photo. I made my way back to the ocean level, got in my boat and went to the first bit of land I could find. I was searching for the rest of the day for cows, but no luck. On day 27, I angered a beast and nearly paid the price for it. I then found a small gravesite guarded by a few ghosts. Right next to it was a dungeon, so I slayed everything. I could not loot this chest, so I took it. Standing back open, nothing surprised me. Taking out a few more enemies and eventually leaving. When I was running around trying to get some cows, I came across a wishing well. I threw one of my emeralds in and got an iron dwarven battle axe. Pretty good. I kept on pushing all day until I had to sleep. On day 28 I told myself if I can't find a cow I'll just have to take this sheep, and after walking around with it non-stop all day I finally found a cow. Not just one but several, and now I just had to find a way to bring them back to the base. Figured I would bring two on a lead and then this happened. The smartest choice was to jump down in the boat, but when I'm on this game I still feel like a noob. I almost quit this world until I saw that I had 4 lives. I did save and quit and played later. I made my way back to the surface and noticed that the sun was going down and I didn't want to stay out here, so I kept on swimming until I came across an abandoned ship. So I stayed there the whole night battling a gigantic tornado. Look at the size of that, that is just devastating. It literally ripped through half of the boat. Crazy. If you're wondering why I've got all this iron gear, it's because I found it in this chest. On day 29 I made my way back home, crafted up some food so I could start making my way towards where I could died. I was literally searching it all day, but eventually I found it all. It were night time, so I had to sleep. On day 30 I found one of the cows and brought it back home. I tried to open one of these chests that I found and I had no luck. This took all day, so I went to sleep. On day 31 I went back to the second cow and rode him off the edge, nearly landing in lava. I then brought it back home, making it the second ever cow to be inside a Oceanic sinkhole. I do make this automatic eventually, soon. I did add some magma blocks to where the horde appears, which is right now apparently. Well, I may as well see you in the morning. After fighting the horde I was infected, so I had to eat a golden apple. I did make a small farm but I never used it. When I was finishing up the cow farm it was night time, so I did go to sleep. Today I finished up the cow farm so we can get unlimited food and level. I then fed the cows and spent the whole day mining, finally going to sleep. On day 34 I spent the whole day inside this cave behind a waterfall. There was a few mobs I had to deal with, and I also found a bunch of diamonds, iron ore and gold. I also had to sleep in this cave as well. On day 35 I started to make my way out, but first defeating a spider and finding a diamond. I was mining up a few more ores on the way home as well. When I made it home, I finally crafted myself a diamond chest plate. I also started to build a new trap system for the zombies to fall down into. This did take the rest of the day, so I had to go to sleep. The next day I finished building the zombie trap, but I wouldn't worry too much about that if I were you. I then started clearing out the area for everything to fall into. I did outline it with a few magma blocks, but I needed more, so I needed to go and get some of them. I also headed to the sugarcane farm, and I used the rest of the day just to flatten out the area above my base to eventually build a walkway, and then I finally went to sleep. On day 37 I finished placing a bunch of deep slate. I went out and got myself some magma blocks. I went home, chopped a few trees down, placed the magma blocks, and soon I will have trapdoors around the area. I made a little more space around the area to keep it neat and tidy. Added some seeds to the farm for some reason. Fed the cows because they were hungry, and then I finally slept. On day 38 I thought it was time to start working our walls, so I crafted a ton of deep slate bricks, and as soon as I started construction I stone rolled in. So I ran back inside and decided to wait it out. And then I ran back outside thinking it was safe, which it obviously weren't. Then I continued construction and the storm tried to pick me up, but luckily I got inside safe and sound. I wanted to look out to see the tornado, so I made a tunnel and there it was. So I blocked it back up straight away. When I was walking around my base, the tornado picked me up from inside, and I'm just glad I changed out those glass panes for iron bars because that would have been bad. It eventually let me go and I was free again. Nothing else happened the whole day, so I just went to sleep. On day 39 I went outside to check if everything was clear, and it were. I ended up finishing the first tower, giving it a wooden floor. I started work on the other tower until I ran out of blocks. This was taking all day, so I fed the cows and went to sleep. On day 40 I wanted to go out mining, so I found the nearest cave. I took out a few mobs, finding a few more diamonds. I did find another cave, making my way inside, taking out a few more mobs. Found another diamond, just casually being protected by creepers. And then by the end of that I called it a day, so I went home and slept. On day 41 I tried to take out a weird squid thing, but it had too much health, and then I almost got blown up by a creeper. I were in this thing for a whole minute, but it were having none of it, so I thought, you know what, I'm done with this. I needed some coal, but every time I mined it this happened. The ocean flows through. And for the rest of the day I only found a few more coal ores, and when I was about to go to sleep it became a hard night, so I had to run all the way back home. Started to extend the pit trap, and I just sat there for the rest of the night and just waited till morning. On day 42 I had a battle with a mighty beast that had a lot of health. I thought it was invincible at one point. Right here you can tell how angry I was. Today I wanted to find some diamonds and I only found 2. Got dark fast, so I had to run home and I went to sleep. Today is the day I upgrade my food, so I fed the cows, grabbed the beef and put it in the furnaces. I also started to craft up some books so we can start making some bookshelves. We only got 10, but soon we will get more. I went outside and placed the trapdoors in the pit, and one thing I realised is when you sneak on magma blocks you don't take damage. It's good to know. I then placed as much deep slate bricks to finish the tower that I was building. I then went back inside to craft and place a few more bookshelves in the enchantment room. My food was cooked, so I resupplied with that. I also enchanted my first diamond pickaxe, getting Fortune 2 and getting Knockback 2 and Sharpness 4 on my sword. On day 44 I had to wait for the storm to pass. Yeah, When I got outside, I noticed that my pit trap were destroyed. This was not going to work at all. I had to come up with a different idea. Even both my farms were gone, but it didn't really bother me that much because I already had what I needed. I did enchant my gear like a noob, and then I went to sleep. I didn't do much on day 45 other than finding a diamond, a bunch of coal that I'm gonna need because I'm constantly running out of it. It's such a rare resource, and then I went to sleep because it took all day. On day 46 I chopped down a tree on an island I found. I saw a boat, sailed over to it, finding a bunch of useful things like sticks. Then I found some really weird trees. I mined it, I picked it up, it said wither, so I threw it. I did explore another island, but it was getting dark, so I went to sleep. On day 47 I found a village. The only interesting thing that I found was emeralds, and I spent the whole day searching the house, eventually finding myself a new friend. It was time for Operation Wolf, which means getting my new friend back home, which would actually take a while to be honest. But before I left I saw a well, so I threw a diamond in and got 5 iron ingots back. That is what you call a rip-off, mate. I did find some extra iron and coal inside a cave nearby, found more and more iron on the way home, and then I came across a massive village. So I will show you all the interesting things that I got, but it weren't really much. First off, let's give this builder a shout out. This is a library. I got some TNT in an attic. I was going to take these coal blocks, but I thought that was just a little too easy, so I put them back. I did take some hay bales though, so I could keep feeding the cows. I also got a bunch of logs. The only real interesting things were TNT, hay bales and emeralds really. On day 50 I decided to leave and finally head home. I found a ruined nether portal with a golden apple inside the chest. And then I came across another chest, but this one had to be opened with a key, so I grabbed it. And there were also another village, so you know I had to go there and loot it. I did find an iron block, and I went to sleep. I didn't spend much time in village, and all I was finding were iron blocks, XP bottles, and a few emeralds. I eventually left. I did see this gravestone and went to check it out for any loot, and this happened. I've never seen a falling grass block. Trying to come up with a good joke, but it seems like I'm the only one that's going to fall for it. I spawned in the ocean and I only had 2 lives left. I don't care if you think this is cheating, but I'm using my coordinates to get home. Anyway, I jumped down. It was getting dark, so I quickly checked this ship for some loot. And then I made the run home. I got inside, had a breather, re-geared. By the time I'd done all that, it was day 52. So I went back out in search of all my gear before I lose it all. I finally made it to where I died, got all my stuff back, costing me a life. Now I finally start to take my wolf back, absolutely sending it off the edge. I still need to tame it, so I went back home, grabbed the bones, and then I even tried to open these lock chests again, but it didn't work, and then I went to sleep. Day 53 is 100 times sped up because wouldn't you believe it, I lost a wolf, but I did find a few diamonds, balancing my sanity and my illness at the time. I finally found the dog, or wolf, and tamed it, brung it back home, and I never gave it a name. And good job I did because a storm started rolling in. I stored all my valuables underground because I felt like they weren't safe enough. And then I just went to bed because it was night time. On day 55 I figured out how to open these chests. Here's what I got in the first one. And then the second one. There's some decent stuff in there, but I don't think I use any of it. But today I wanted to look at this flying ship in sky. So I pillared my way up, made my way inside. I literally looted everything, taking out any mobs in my way, and then eventually going to sleep. I made my way back home on day 56, sorting out all my inventory. I fed the cows, and then cleaned up the front of the base a little and spent the rest of the day just mining deep slit because I'm gonna need a lot of it. On day 57 I did the exact same thing. Yeah. On day 58, which turned out to be day 59 for some reason, I have had a look in editing but I can't see anything, but all I know is that I was mining a lot of deep slate at the time. Anyway, I was working on the base and then a storm appeared, so I had to stay inside all day. Working more on the base afterwards and mining deep slate and then finally sleeping again. On day 60, I finished most of the work on the towers, adding a walkway across and staircases in each one of them, and then I finally went to sleep. Once again, I got to sleep too many times. And no, I'm not sorry for how terrible my script is. I'm writing it out as I'm editing the video, and I don't have no notes or anything like that, so yeah, I am winging it once again. On day 61 I started work on a new wall. It were overlapping the horde pit, so I had to build a staircase down into it. Another storm rolled in, so I headed back inside. I did nothing else that day and just stayed in the base, and when it was time to go to sleep, it was a horde night. I spent most of day 62 on the wall. And then I spent most of the day on 63 just gathering dirt. And when I got home I had a little surprise waiting for me. And this is where we're at so far. It's looking really cool. And then for the rest of the day, I just placed dirt. On day 65, I witnessed a mighty battle between a llama and a zombie. After that was over, I bought a crocodile egg from the wandering trader, and you're gonna have to wait and see if that were a good or a bad idea. I started a little enclosure for it, placed the egg and finished building it, and I'll have to wait for it to hatch. A tornado appeared, so I went inside. I mined deep slate underneath my base for the rest of the day and then just went to sleep. On day 66 I had the foundation of the wall built, but yet again another storm appeared. And I needed deep slate, so I placed some TNT and ignited it. And then went to bed. I managed to get a few stacks, but when I went outside I had to deal with a few mobs. Finished placing all the bricks that I had, but I still needed more, so I spent the rest of the day mining more deep slate and finally going to sleep. I then spent the next 2 days just mining deep slate, days 68 and 69 just mining deep slate. On day 70 I spent the whole day on the wall. I'm nearly finished this now, soon it'll be done. and then I went to bed, but it were another hard night. So again, I sat there all night. The only reason why I don't really show you much of the horde is because nothing really happens. I sit there, hit them, get hit, and then eat a golden apple. The next morning this happened. I took out a horse and it infected me. That's a scam, mate. Anyway, here's my base on day 71. Yeah, day 71. I also used the force on a trident. And I got infected once again. I needed to cure my infection, so I went out and got some gold, and I realised afterwards that I already had some golden apples in a chest. I also realised it were day 72. I have no idea why. I am missing another day. I'm not always checking, and I know I should, and I am relying on when I'm sleeping. So yeah, I am sorry about that. That night I placed a few lanterns down, and when I was about to sleep, I had an intruder. When I went out the next day, I got jumped. After defeating them, I started work on the base once again, making more pathways that'll soon be everywhere. Trust me, you'll see why soon. I checked the crocodile egg, wondering has it hatched yet, so I picked it up and placed it inside of the water. Hopefully that works. I spent the whole day on day 74 just working on the base. And on day 75 I did the same thing. Nothing really happened, so this is what I'm editing. On day 76 I had to wait for the tornado to pass. And once again I did more work on the base. I feel like I haven't really been building a lot, so this is why you're seeing so much of it. This is probably one of my favourite bases I've built on PC so far. Anyway, more work on the base. I placed a few lanterns. Found some diamonds. And placed some leaves down. Also, something interesting happened. My crocodile hatched. I tried to feed it, but it weren't working. I was trying other foods, but they didn't work either. On day 78, I figured he might need live fish. so I got some water buckets and went to find some fish. I spent all day searching for one, so I decided to head home because I couldn't find any. I didn't find a single fish in the ocean. The next day I thought I'd go further out to find some, but I'm going to save you all some time and tell you all that I couldn't find a single one once again. So I took my frustration out on a pillager and slept on his boat where he had a villager captive. I also left him too. On day 80 I was quite far from home and I knew it would be quite a while until I get back. But when I did, the crocodile were grown. I didn't know if he were friendly or if he wanted to attack me, so I went a bit closer and this made sure that he were not friendly. On day 81, I built a small lookout room above my base so I could get a better look outside. The crocodile was stuck, so I fixed that. I needed some sand and some extra pieces of gold, but I got attacked. I was about to go to sleep, but I had to deal with another horde. I had to stay inside on day 82 for a while. But I enchanted a few swords, put them together on the anvil, and it's a pretty decent sword to be honest. I went to check on the crocodile and he were gone. Yeah, I'm guessing the tornado picked him up and just sent him flying somewhere. I'm pretty sure they'd go on like a mission to try and find him. But anyway, on day 83, I fixed the windows above, took out a few mobs that were in my way, got rid of the crocodile wall pen thingy. I started to add more to the base, but I was going to need a ton of deep slate. Luckily it's everywhere. So for the rest of the night, I mined a ton of it and placed what I had. On day 84, I spent all day gathering deep slate and placing it. On day 85 I did a little bit more work on the base and adding some walls around. I finally built a doorway to get into the base and put an iron door there. I did the same on the other side. I did nothing else that day, so I slept. On day 86 I took on the abandoned mineshaft. I will let this play, it's pretty self-explanatory. The only major thing was that I never really found any chests. Day 87 and 88. For the next 2 days, all I did was mine deep slit. Like I said, I was gonna need a lot. On day 89, I did a ton of work around the base. I'm sorry it's taking forever to build it, but it is what it is really. I'm more of a laid back gamer. I like to take my time and just not put too much stress on everything. On day 90, only 10 more days until day 100, but for the rest of this day, all I did was build more. I'm pretty sure I've nearly finished it now. Day 91, I finished placing some iron bars. A zombie tried to trick shot me with a shovel, but luckily my dog sorted him out. I then went searching for the crocodile, but I had zero luck. And then my wolf fell from a high place, which is sad because we'd nearly finished and it took me a long time to get him back home. Anyway, I jumped down in standard fashion and this happened. But literally a storm brewing, so I went outside to check it out and my walls saved me. And this bit made me feel like I added to my IQ. On day 92 after the storm stopped, I had to awkwardly deal with a horde. And for the rest of the day, I just got screenshots and stuff. On day 93, I went back to that ship that had tons of TNT, so I dealt with a few mobs and looted it. I also slept on front of the ship getting a nice view. I spent the majority of day 94 collecting dirt. I gave a skeleton skull a TNT hat. And I put flame on my bow, even though I never used it. Like, literally I've never used it. I'm not even going to use it now. I then put some artwork on a picture frame and went to bed. Day 95, all I did was place dirt around the base and added some saplings around. I wanted this place to look lush, but I just never had enough time to do any more. On day 96, I placed a few more saplings and I had to stay inside and wait for the storm to pass for like the 50th time. And then I went out and gathered even more dirt, also forgetting my bed, so I had to run all the way home just to sleep. The next day, I went back over with over half a stack of TNT and set it off. I got a bit more dirt, went home and started placing it again. I really wanted to turn this place into like some sort of magical forest, but as you can tell I'm not that creative, or just didn't have no time whatsoever. All I did was place the remaining bit of dirt that I had. I don't know why, but watching this sped up is like proper satisfying every time. And on day 99 I released the cows and gave them the freedom of wandering. And then I did a little bit more work around the base. Day 100, the final day. I made my way to the ocean to find the monster. It took me a while to find it, but I know I did when I heard this noise. After defeating the monster, I slept for the final time. If you have made it this far, thank you, I truly appreciate it, and the same goes for all my other videos. Every single one here are absolute legends. I also want to say thank you for 100 subscribers too, because this video was supposed to drop when I reached it, but I never had the time. I'm not sure what's next though, might go back to my hardcore world, I don't know. Well, if you have enjoyed this, please give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing, that would be fantastic. And maybe you could check out some of my other videos, but I hope you've enjoyed this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in a new one.